Uh-oh, there's a mine in here, so if Bisu's not careful, he's going to lure that mine into the probes, but it looks like he does manage to get away from the mine right there. That would have been very, very bad if all of the probes were caught in that mine. But Fantasy is still in here picking at these probes, so some good economic harassment from Fantasy. And Bisu is flying around here with the shuttle again. I don't think Bisu is used to this much early aggression from a Terran player. I think, yeah, Fantasy, he has a very large force right at the natural expansion. I think he's coming in with vultures. He's trying to sneak by with vultures. He does sneak by with vultures, and Bisu's forced to use his Reaver to defend against this, but even more probes being taken down from Fantasy. Fantasy, of course, well known for his vulture control. And unfortunately, his vultures go down. So I think Fantasy might want to bring his dropship back into play here. If he tries to sneak by again, I don't think Bisu's going to let him through the choke in the main. Another command center, two more command centers coming up for Fantasy. So Fantasy's building kind of a hidden command center down there at the 5 o'clock base. I don't think Bisu's going to scout that for a long time. And Bisu does have an observer in here now, so he's going to be able to break through these mines and break out of this mini contain from Fantasy. I don't think Fantasy fully committed to that contain. I'm not sure exactly where all of his tanks are. I think he's using them to defend his natural main, which is probably the smarter thing to do. He has a Wraith out here. I'm not sure what this Wraith is going to do for Fantasy. He might fly it around to pick off that shuttle. And that would be a smart thing to do. But he's coming in with the dropship again. He's going to drop the main again. And I'm not sure if Bisu's going to be ready for it. Bisu has quite a few troops at his natural, and he's coming out with two shuttles. And I think they are going to scout each other. And this Wraith is going to be key in taking down this shuttle. I can't believe Fantasy pumped a Wraith, but he's going to probably fly that Wraith up and take out the shuttles if Bisu tries to drop here. I think he has 4 Reavers in those shuttles. Well, I think it's at least 3, and he's just going to demolish the SCV line if Fantasy can't defend this. Fantasy, it looks like they're both going to try to drop each other right now. And Bisu's coming in here with his 2 shuttles, flying right over the natural, so I'm not exactly sure what his plan is here. He's dropping a huge force in here, but I'm not sure if this is going to be enough. Bisu, okay, he has his Reaver in here. Ooh, a lot of SCV kills right now from Bisu. Oh, a lot of SCV kills there, so Fantasy is in a very bad position here. He lost even more SCVs there, even though he ran them to safety. And he still has his Wraith flying around here, but it looks like he's going for the drop on this mineral only with whatever units are in the dropship. But Bisu has another Reaver in here taking out more SCVs, so the economy of Fantasy just being completely whittled down. But Fantasy still has that hidden 5th base. I think that is an important factor here. I don't think Bisu knows about it at all. And now Fantasy has stopped this mining nexus here behind. Oh, taking out a Dragoon as well with mine there. So Fantasy being super, super annoying there, stopping the mineral only from mining. Oh, man, more SCV kills. So, wow, Bisu's actually been doing a lot of great harassment here with that Reaver. While Fantasy is coming down here, he still has that Wraith just floating there. He's not using that Wraith for anything when he could be using it to take out the shuttles. I think that was his plan the whole time, to use the Wraith to take down the shuttles, but it looks like he's actually forgotten about that Wraith floating there. He might think it's an SCV or something on his mini-map, but I think he definitely needs to throw that Wraith into play right now. Man, that 5 o'clock base is very nicely mining, though, so I think he does have the economic advantage. I think Fantasy does have the economic advantage right now, while Bisu is macroing up. Bisu trying to take 4th base there. Well, I know some people don't really count mineral onlys as bases, but I think I'll count it today. Yeah, he's trying to take that base up there at the inside, well, not inside, but 1 o'clock base up there. And he's throwing in his Dragoon army to do it. And we'll see what Fantasy can do here. Fantasy still has a bunch of mines on the map. And he has a Vulture over here scouting. I think he did scout those shuttles, but his Wraith is still not in play right now. He has a couple of Goliaths out here. I'm actually not quite sure how many Goliaths he has. If he has a lot of Goliaths, he might be able to swing this game into his favor if he can take out these shuttles. Bisu coming in with 2 shuttles once again. Turret fending them off. Turret and a Goliath fending off those shuttles. Now Fantasy's coming in here with the dropship, dropping Goliath in here, taking out a shuttle. That was absolutely brilliant attack there from Fantasy. I've never seen anything like that, actually. Just dropped right in front of the shuttles. It took one of them down, so that's a shuttle full of units just down right now for Bisu. So Bisu's, I think he's a bit tired of this right now. He's going out with his army, probably going to try to put on some pressure. This is very uncharacteristically non-aggressive play from Bisu right now. He's just macroing up with his army right now, and he just hasn't moved out to do anything with it. He has a huge army, but he's losing a ton of probes here. Some great vulture harassment from Fantasy. You see, this is the first-person perspective of Bisu, and he's losing a lot of probes. Finally takes out those vultures that were harassing him. And now Bisu is coming in here with a shuttle, and I think Bisu might have lost a shuttle down there at the main, actually. I hear the observers going crazy. But Bisu, he's trying to get some just cannons all over his bases here so he can keep those vulture harassments from happening again. But yeah, he's finally going out with the observers so he can take out the mines and maybe push into the natural of Fantasy. But Bisu still does not know about that 5 o'clock base. I guarantee you he has not scouted that 5 o'clock, so he doesn't know what an awesome economic advantage Fantasy has right now. I think Fantasy still has the economic advantage because of that 5 o'clock. And now Fantasy's going out with a major army, being spotted by Bisu's observers. So Bisu, he's going to have to decide whether or not to commit his army to this. He needs to throw his zealots out first, and he's trying to come in here, but Fantasy is sieging, some nice sieging there. And, oh, it looks like Bisu is falling back until he can get some storm going here. But, man, look at all these tanks from Fantasy. Fantasy's gotten a huge army here. Man, he really is I Love UUV reincarnated, even if I Love UUV isn't dead. That was kind of a weird analogy. Because, oh, the High Templar are being sniped by the vultures there. So Fantasy's playing very, very well here. Bisu was waiting for storm before he tried to attack the army from Fantasy, but he's going to have to wait a little bit longer if he gets some more High Templar in here. So Fantasy has taken the middle. He has plenty of tanks to hold that middle, so Bisu needs to work towards arbiters or something. He needs something to stop those tanks, and he needs to scout this base. Jeez, that base has been running unharassed, completely unharassed for a long time now. So that was a brilliant strategy from Fantasy to go for that, but now Fantasy has a massive army down here, and Bisu's losing Dragoons. He's going to have to fall back until he can get some more High Templar going here. But he's throwing in his army anyway. Bisu, what are you doing? This is a suicide mission from Bisu, throwing in his zealots like this, being completely pincered in, losing all of his troops to mines. So this is working horrible for Bisu right now. I think Bisu's going to lose another game to Fantasy. And Fantasy, he still has all of his tanks. And he's moving up the map right now with those tanks, and he's going to eventually push into one of the mining bases from Bisu. I think he is going for the natural right now, and I don't think Bisu has enough to defend it. He lost his entire army. Bisu is dropping some more forces in here, trying to take out these vultures. But man, look at all these tanks. Tanks are coming in, and Bisu does not have high enough tech to deal with this. He doesn't have arbiters, he doesn't have carriers, and all of his High Templar have been picked off here. So he has, I haven't seen one storm from Bisu so far, even though he was working towards High Templar. Okay, the first storm of the game coming in, and pretty nice storm taking on a lot of troops, but Fantasy has so many troops, and he's throwing in reinforcements down the map. You can see him pouring them down the map right now. He's building turrets everywhere to stop. Oh man, GG from Bisu again. Bisu's going to have to win the next 3 games to move into the finals. It looks like everyone's prediction of the cosmic prediction rather of Bisu versus Jaedong might not end up coming to pass. Fantasy's been playing great. He really impressed me in that game with picking off units, staying one step ahead. That hidden base was a brilliant move. Yeah, even though he lost a ton of SCVs, man, he lost a lot of SCVs earlier in the game. He still managed to beat Bisu, and Bisu's looking absolutely crushed here now. I think Bisu might be crying a little bit. I think he had some water under his eyes there, and Fantasy has really stepped up his game here, and we'll see if he manages to take out Bisu here. I think he might be able to do it. If he comes out with some cheese in the next game and tries to end it early, I think Fantasy might be able to take this series. This is absolutely crazy. 3rd set coming from me soon.